This chicken soup comes from the Simply Recipes website, the chicken mulligatawny soup. I've made it hundreds of times. I used to run it on the menu where I worked and it was always a customer favourite. And I've made it so many times that I've tweaked it just a bit. I like using a whole chicken, which also makes a stock, and I add a couple more spices, more rice and more cream or coconut cream because it can easily be made dairy-free. It's not a traditional mulligatawny soup, but I actually prefer this. It's packed full of flavour and it's absolutely delicious. And this is how it goes. I like using a whole chicken because it makes its own stock and it ensures the meat stays tender, not overcooked or stringy. These days I try to source free-range organic chicken. It's pricier, but it tastes so much better, more like how chicken used to taste when I was a child. This 1.3 kilogram chicken cost me $21, so it wasn't that expensive, especially when compared to the price of red meat these days. Into the pot, place the whole chicken, add 1 teaspoon of salt and pour in 6 cups of water. Bring it to the boil, cover with a lid, turn the heat down and let simmer steady bubbles for about 60 to 70 minutes. When done, use tongs to remove the chicken to a bowl. It'll be fall apart tender. Pour the stock into a jug and set both aside. And you can even cook the chicken the day before you intend to make the soup. You'll need 3 medium carrots, and I like chunky pieces so they don't turn to mush and they look nice too. 2 celery stalks. I also chop up the leaves, there's loads of flavour in them. 2 large onions, roughly chopped. I chopped mine into wedges. And 3 cloves of garlic, sliced thin and then roughly chopped. In a big pot, coat the bottom of the pot with a little oil, then add a knob of butter. And when the butter starts sizzling, toss in the vegetables. Stir to coat them in the oil and the butter, then cook over a medium heat for about 10 minutes, stirring often. After they've softened a bit, add 4 teaspoons of curry powder. Adjust it to taste, maybe 2 teaspoons if serving kids, or if your curry powder is on the spicier side, and you can always add more curry powder at the end. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon and 1 teaspoon of nutmeg. The cinnamon and nutmeg add another layer of flavour. Stir for a minute to let the spices bloom. Pour in 5 cups of chicken stock. If you don't have quite enough from the chicken, just make it up with a little extra water. Add 2 large bay leaves and bring to a boil. Cover, reduce the heat to low and let simmer for 10 minutes. Meanwhile, prep 2 or 3 Granny Smith apples. Peel and chop. I usually use 3 apples, but today I only had 2, but it still works great. After 10 minutes of simmering, the veggies should still have a little bit of bite left. Then add the chopped apples and a half a cup of white rice, and basmati works great here. Bring the soup back to the boil, cover and simmer for another 15 minutes. And while that's cooking, pull apart the chicken into large sort of pieces, discarding the skin and bones. I like to keep the drumsticks as a cook's treat for later. I reheat them gently in butter to brown up the skin, and I usually have them with a salad. So that's 2 meals from 1 chook. After 15 minutes, check the rice and veggies. They should be tender. If not, just cover and cook a little longer. Now's the time to taste and season. I always taste a few times at the end. It makes all the difference. My soup needed a little extra salt and some cracked black pepper. Add the shredded chicken back to the pot, stir gently and leave on the stove for just a couple of minutes to warm through. Remove the pot from the heat and stir in some cream or coconut cream. I started with a half a cup, but I won't lie, I ended up adding another big slurp, probably another half a cup, because it makes the soup so luxurious. And coconut cream works beautifully too, and it's definitely the healthier option and perfect for a dairy-free version. I transferred the soup to a serving pot, gave it one last stir and taste, and it was delicious. Like most soups, it's even better the next day and it freezes beautifully. Mike's just mowing the lawn if you can hear that in the background. I'll link Simply Recipes recipe in the video description as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you again soon.